the thing about business that people don't realize, it's not about that first business. It's not about what you're doing on day one. It's about getting in the game, keeping your ear to the ground, doing a good job, and then these opportunities start to come to you to play business on easy mode. I thought that money was important. Like, that sounds bad, but I thought that making actual money was a good thing. And that's probably the number one job if you run a company, or if you want to live a good life, if you want to fly somewhere, if you want to eat something. Like, people say money doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter unless you need something. And as human beings, we need something all the time. We need somewhere to live. We need something to eat. We need something to take us where we need to go. We need healthcare when we're sick. We need all these different things. And so it was like, okay, I can care about the status and what I'm telling my grandma that I'm up to, and what I'm telling my friends at a cocktail party I'm working on, and I can care about these pitch competitions and winning them. Or I can play the game of like, hey, what's the lowest risk thing I can do that allows me to get 150 grand a year? Because I thought, like, in reality, 150 grand a year is freedom, especially if you can work 20 hours a week. Like, that's what you need to live a good life. You can do whatever you want. If I set the bar that low, if I set, okay, my goal is to get 150 grand a year coming in for my family, and work 20 hours a week or less so that I can travel, I can spend time with my family, I can be there, and I can do what I want to do. That's success. That's the bar. Some people are setting the bar at, hey, I need $1 billion company. Hey, I need to take a company public. Hey, I need to be on the Forbes 30 under 30. I set the bar really low, and I said, okay, what game can I play where the competition is weak enough, where that's probably like a good odds that I can accomplish this. And I looked at the level of genius of the people playing the other game, playing the new startup idea game, going after venture capital, building teams. They were from Stanford, they're Harvard, they're MBAs, they got great experience. I'm like, wow, that's like me trying to play basketball against LeBron James. Like, I'm gonna get slaughtered. But over here, if my goal is a lot smaller, if I just want to make 150 grand a year for my family, I can go play this game, and it's like playing basketball against somebody just like me. Like, okay, maybe I can win this game. Maybe the odds are 50-50. And so I did that, and just something funny and counterintuitive about all this is, here I am now with the stuff I wasn't even after at the beginning, which is the followers and the notoriety and the fact that people hang on my words online. It's funny how you do something for 10 years, you're in the trenches building, it's not fun, it's not sexy, it's not game changing, world changing, impacting people. Literally, people on Reddit, when I was talking about what I was doing in the early days, they'd say, how do you feel building wealth on the back of self storage? Like, how do you feel adding absolutely nothing to the world? And that's the way that entrepreneurs think. Like, that's the way that some entrepreneurs think. Which is wild. So, I played a different game. Like, how can I build the life I want to build? And then the momentum of business took over. Like, just business, when you get it going and you start playing business from a high leverage position, everything changes. And there's several situations of high leverage. Like, our high leverage situation was, hey, we can buy storage facilities and everybody else has a manager and we don't have a manager, so we can operate them for way less money. That was our situation of leverage. So we could go in and buy a building. We could pay a little bit more than anybody else was willing to pay, and we could still make more money because we had a competitive advantage. I have a buddy who was rolling up body shops. He was buying body shops and operating them pretty well. And he'd build amazing relationships with insurance companies, with Geico and Allstate and State Farm. And he'd go to dinner with the executives at Geico, and he'd say, hey, tell me a region in the United States where you can't find anybody to work on your cars. Tell me a region where the body shop that you want to send all your business is not performing. And they'd say, oh, well, over here, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, like, that's the most headache for our teams. We can't find anybody to fix the cars, and all of our reputable suppliers are, messing up and losing money and cost us money. He'd just go over there and buy one of them. He'd go to Tuscaloosa, buy one. He'd send an email to the executive and say, hey, I'm open. And then boom, all the business would flood in. They'd send all the cars to him. And 3 months later, the business that he had bought was worth 4 or 5 times more than he paid for it. That's playing business on easy mode, and it's leverage, and it's operating from a high leverage situation. Another example of that, I have a friend, played golf with the other day. He buys up UPS and FedEx delivery routes. It's a hard business. He's got a good management team in place, but he owns the rights to deliver packages to these homes. He's operating the trucks. He's sending out workers. He's hiring the workers. He's managing the routes. You can sell 10 or 15 routes that you own. You can sell them at 5 or 6 times earnings. They're worth something. They're worth it. But there's so many that start to fail, and UPS controls it in the contract. If you're not delivering, if you're late deliveries, if there's problems, UPS can take ownership. They can literally take your business from you. So there's risk, right? So what he'll do is he's proven to UPS that he is a good operator, and he doesn't have to go around and buy routes for 4 to 5x to grow. He just tells UPS, he says, look, I'm a good operator. You see me out here operating. I know what I'm doing. And UPS says, okay, you are a problem solver for me. I'm going to take branches from people who don't know how to do it, and I'm going to give them to you for basically nothing. Okay. So UPS has a problem. They want all their packages delivered on time. That's all they care about. They don't care about how profitable these individual branches are. They don't care who's operating them. They're not in the business of rolling up their routes and selling them to private equity. They don't care. So what he did for 5 years is he just went around and bought a route. He'd send a note to the regional UPS guy and say, hey, I'm available. If any of your other routes are sucking, I'm growing. I have a phenomenal management team. He'd go pitch them every quarter over lunch and say, I'm really good at what I do. And they would start to, one of his competitors would start to fail, a lot of late packages. The contracts would get, those parts of the contracts where UPS can suddenly take your business from you. That would happen. And UPS would take it from him and give it to him. And he just grew up his routes by spending zero money on building these routes. And then he sold 50 routes for $25 million. And once you get the thing about business that people don't realize, it's not about that first business. It's not about what you're doing on day one. It's about getting in the game, keeping your ear to the ground, doing a good job. And then these opportunities start to come to you to play business on easy mode. Seriously, like that's what you're operating from a point of really high leverage. So that's the fun thing about all this. And it's what people don't understand who are going after these venture capital companies trying to change the world, trying to drive a square peg into a round hole, trying to solve a problem that doesn't even really exist. They're all starting to see the light. They're sending me DMs. They're sending me emails saying, Nick, I went the venture capital route. It was hard. I learned a ton. It was a valuable experience. And some of them do change the world. It's an amazing thing. I'm not trying to poo-poo on the whole industry. But a lot of those operators are coming to me saying, I want to go out and make some money now. And they're starting agencies. They're starting small businesses. Maybe they're buying a company. So it's an important message that I'm excited about getting out to the masses.
Big news, guys. I created a free PDF that details my method on how I analyze a self-storage facility and figure out what it's worth. Give me a pen, the back of a napkin, and a couple metrics, and I can figure out about what the property is going to be worth to me. If you want to download this PDF, click in the show notes, the first link, and you can give me your email address, and you get a email right away with a 4-page PDF that outlines exactly how I think about underwriting or giving my initial analysis on a self-storage facility. Again, click the link in the show notes, and you're going to get that document for free. Before you go, we have a new sponsor of the show, recostseg.com. And if you bought a piece of real estate, you need to get a cost segregation study done. It's what allows you to get all that sweet, sweet bonus depreciation, and it's how real estate investors like me and many others pay almost nothing in taxes on an annual basis. You can cost seg a single-family rental, a short-term rental, or a large commercial property. recostseg.com is affordable and aggressive and super fast to turn them around. They've done 10 plus cost segs for me this year. They're going to do many more for me. Visit recostseg.com to learn more.